tuning in to another segment of the Kelly Hill Ross Show. Today's show is all about a man who took his career of being a record disc jockey and turned it into a learning process by connecting it to science, technology, engineering, and math, better known as STEM. Mr. Kendrick Tilghman and his love of being a disc jockey connected his skills in an environment for kids to learn as well as professionals. So sit down, get your cup of coffee, tea, or favorite beverage, and relax and enjoy the show. Hi, Kendrick, and thank you so much for coming on the Kelly Hill Ross Show. I really appreciate it, and I feel like I'm getting ready to have fun. It's like going to a theater class when I was at Stevenson University, and I just loved it because you could just be yourself, and this looks like a lot of fun. So, you know what? Just tell me a little bit about you.
Amazing. Well, thank you for having me here, Miss Kelly Ross. And it has been a dream come true. I'm from Baltimore, two-parent household. I come from Emerson Village, was an urban background. And so having a two-parent household growing up with that amount of love, it really showcased who I was going to be in the future and putting love in the industries that I work in, putting love in the philanthropic organizations we serve in. And for me, it was having my parents. I thanked them just the other day. Thank you for not having me go through trauma due to your negligence. That is
Wow.
so important. Thank you, mother and father, for protecting me so that I didn't have to experience trauma based on your negligence. Now, of course, we all experience trauma outside of the household, but I
Right.
grew up in a church and they sang on the choir. I was on the usher board. I served every day of the week until I was probably about 13 years old. And so when I had the choice to go to church, I still choose. I wasn't forced to go to church, and I just enjoyed my upbringing and how everything just happened for a reason. I grew up on the rough side from Emerson Village. So I still had the tough guy. I was a boy. I played all the sports, football, basketball, soccer, and now I find myself on the golf course. Who would if you'd have told me 30 years ago that I would be playing golf and loving it as my favorite sport now,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't have believed you. And it's just been an amazing ride for me. It was having a sister who was 16 years older than me, who was an engineer. Okay, I got to at least follow in her footsteps. So I was always strong in math. I went to all public schools, went to the great Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. Of course, we have a super strong rivalry here with, I think that's the third largest rivalry in the country, where you see that camaraderie. And I graduated from Morgan State University while being exposed to the DJ craft. So that's why you see me standing here in front of, I would call it my passion. This is something I love so much that I would do it for free. Not DJ your wedding. I can't do that for free. But the DJ craft to be able to control this little, to be able to control that little sound effect. with that scratch. The highlight of my DJ career is performing with Soulful Symphony. So if you could imagine me in my little bow tie and my tuxedo, scratching with 77 other instruments, it doesn't get any better than that. And so having these experiences on the entertainment side, having the educational side exposed to me, and it wasn't forced. They said, my parents always said, look, we don't even care what type of grades you bring in this house. As long as you can look us in the eye and say you did your best, we bring it here. And so having that type of environment, that energy made me just want to do what I want to do and really focus on the educational gifts that were already focused in me that the Most High has given me. So many times we focus on the weaknesses that the gifts weren't given to us. Why focus all this energy on things that just wasn't given to you? Why not focus on the strengths? And that's how I had to realize growing up. I mean, going through those schools and then going to Morgan State University. I'm DJing, working on my engineering degree, and then you graduate with your engineering degree, and your family's like, wow, he got his engineering degree just like his sister. So you're going to get your master's degree like your sister too? No, I'm going to go DJ.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. Well, Kendrick, Kendrick got an engineering degree. You should be working for Lockheed Martin. And why are you DJing? I like DJing and it's making me a lot of money. I'm 2 hours of my time for a couple $1,000s. It's pretty good. Every week, every Thursday, I get this little 1,500, and I can just go ahead and DJ for 2 hours. Really, I had a DJ open up for me. It was a well-oiled machine until the club owner sold Hammerjacks for $2.6 million, and I realized that the entertainment industry is very fickle, and so entertainment, fashion, and sports. There are things that can happen outside of your control that can change your bottom line. So then was when I had my rude awakening. Okay. Now I need to figure out how to create a business around myself. And this was about the year of 2008, 2009, where I did it wrong. I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to school. And I went back to the school of engineering and told my professor, my mentor, and at that time, the associate dean of the school of engineering, and said, Dr. White, I want to come back to get my master's degree, but not in engineering. I'm sorry, I will promote engineering. I love the creativity. You taught me how to think, but I need to go back for business. I'm going to go get my MBA, and I'll market engineering if you could find me some funding so that I don't have to cover these expenses out my pocket. And he said, you know what? I'm going to help you do that. And that changed the game because knowledge is not power, Miss Kelly Hill Ross. It's not. Because if you give someone all the knowledge in the world and they use it on absolutely nothing, what type of power is that? What change occurred? None. So we'd like to say applied knowledge is power.
We are one of the most consequential universities, I believe, in the history of American higher education. We enroll students here from all over the United States, all over the world. We take students where they are, and we move them where they need to be competitive with anyone, anywhere, any place.
I remember being a sophomore in the school of engineering, and it was an aha moment. Wait a minute. The goal of this digital logic class isn't to just get a good grade on this test. It's supposed to inspire me to use this digital logic for what I love to do. So my senior project, Miss Kelly Hill Ross, before I went and got my MBA, before that, I had to add this point. I designed a studio as my senior project in the school of engineering because that included acoustic engineering. And so I could focus on the sine waves. And I said, you know what? I like being this geek. If I could STEMify everything, it would make the world a better place. And so I had this idea to STEMify these term tables. Like, can we talk about the physics? That is physics. That's kinetic energy. That is friction. I want to tell the world that this right here, it can inspire more engineers. But how do I create a business around that? And so having that opportunity to go back to Morgan State for the second time, it was amazing because for the first time in my life, I was in school and really wasn't focused on the grades. It was all about their relationships. It was all about the information because applied knowledge is power. I am doing presentations on my own company for a grade. My professors would be like, Mr. Tillman, so Five Star Enterprise, it's a STEM company? Hmm. Put your bow tie on. I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Winslow Sargent. He's coming next week. He has an engineering background just like you. That's so organic. You can't pay for those type of relationships. My colleagues in class would see me on a picture on a magazine, say, "Wait a minute, Kendrick, you really are doing what you said you were doing." And it was like a dream to say, I see this, I'm seeing this happen. And fast forward, here we are, year 12, next month will be year 12 of a 20-year plan, and we're living this dream. I had a dream that the same energy for sports was for math. And here we are, students excited about math because we changed the way they were being delivered math.
Well, show me what it is that you do. You have a presentation here, and I'd love to see what you have here. So I'm gonna let you carry the ball.
Oh, sure. I'll even run through it so you can make sure you can cut me off at any time. So when you ask about what our company does, we strive to be a premier resource for STEM workforce diversity. So Five Star Enterprise is a pipeline to success, from engagement to employment, from engagement to pursuing a PhD in a STEM field, or engagement to pursuing a social entrepreneurship like we are. We have a nonprofit mission, although we're for profit. And so our biggest tour right now is this Be Bold for Good tour. This is a real life picture. I was 14 floors up, and that is the school, that is the Board of Education right behind me. And so the photographer wanted to make a statement right there that said, I love how you're mixing your engineering degree with you being a professional DJ. I got the perfect picture for you. It's right in front of the Board of Education, and I want you to just stand up on this roof. And I was a little scared. It was a little windy that day, but here we are. We have Be Bold for Good. It's impromptu TV. We come to different locations with our cameras. Of course, I have Black Magic cameras and Black Magic switchers, and in school, out school, we produce shows, and it's been fun to really engage our young people on the topics that they want to talk about. And we're looking for leaders. Second, if we don't find leaders, we want to help you become leaders. So we want to retool leadership. And that retooling leadership is putting people over profits and putting the policies and principles before politics. And so that's really what we focus on when it comes to retooling leadership, and retooling leadership with succession in mind. I had an analog childhood and a digital adulthood. I'm right there at that Generation X where I can communicate with my baby boomers. I even love baby boomers so much. I married one. My wife is a baby boomer. She's the
Oh, is
last
she?
year. She's the last year of the baby boomer, 1964, and I just happen to be the last year of Generation X, 1981. And now I know how to communicate with millennials that come after me because I remember the digital era. And so we look at retooling leadership with succession in mind. And of course, with Be Bold for Good, you can't drive straight if you're not aligned. Just like a car, you got to get an alignment before you drive. So we want to make sure we provide those strategies and different aspects to our different communities. Some are schools where we're professors and we're doing retooling leadership for our leaders. Some are upcoming leaders that are freshmen. They're in grad schools, and we don't really have that demographic that we can turn away because we've had so much curriculum over the last 15, 20 years, and with our partners, it makes it 30 years of just experience for aligning and strategy. And so with that, we want to speak what we want to see in existence. I try to speak what we want to see in existence. So we don't say men and women for domestic violence. I don't want to see violence. I want to see peace. So we say men and women for domestic peace. And we bring formulas and programming around situational awareness about being allies for each other as we promote what we want to see. And lastly is my favorite, is education is the new sport. And I think you've been waiting for this for a while, so I'm going to run through this really quickly.
Oh, you don't have to go through it quickly. Take your time.
Products, and we can slow down, we can stop, we can really do this again because for me, it's living a dream. And I have so many different versions to show this. I just didn't know how much time we had, so we can really do some creative things, but I really want to make sure people understand the nuts and bolts of these three different products and one service. So that's Matthew Music, which is a product, the JD Coding Kit, which is a product, the Sound Clash, which is a product, and then our Media Masters, which I'll show you in a minute, is a service that we offer and provide audio and visual scores for clients like you or clients like the YMCA and different aspects in the virtual world. We want to keep engagement, and so I'll show you how we do that in a moment. And so Matthew Music is a duffel bag. That duffel bag in the corner there has all of these things inside. We have our curriculum, we have the hardware, we have the laptop. On the laptop, there's all your software. You have embedded videos to teach you the curriculum. Now, this curriculum is teaching you how to DJ, but using mathematical principles. And so that's the real engagement point that I want to drive home here, is that principles are few, processes are many. Principles are few, processes are many. Principles don't change. So fifth grade through ninth grade principles, part the whole, percentages, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, principles are few. They don't change, but the process. And so for me, in this point, this is so passionate for me, because when you and I were in grade school, here in state of Maryland, specifically Baltimore, 70 was passing and 60 was failing. Maybe we should change our approach to delivering STEM education. Again, I say principles are few, processes are many. So it's almost like having a child that needs medicine, and you give that young child or that young king or young queen some medicine, but you put it in applesauce because you want it to taste good. They need the math. They need these nutrients, but they may not like how it tastes. They may not like how it's delivered. And so that's what we want to bring to the marketplace with Math Through Music, that we strive to be a complement. We live in that extended learning space. And so we're not in competition with what you're already doing. We just want to be a complement to drive home those few principles that you're going to already see. We have clients that use it as a reward system. We have clients that use it as an after-school program, a summer program. We haven't yet graduated to that B2C where our business is dealing with a lot of customers, because we focus on businesses. Second product I want to share with you is called the JD Coding Kit. And so one of the greatest things about my background in electrical engineering is that I was exposed to coding, and I realized that that's an important field that you don't even need a degree for. You can pick up a book, learn how to code, and really create a revenue stream that will make your living for you in the six figures above. And so with this, we know that music is the key. You can reach students through music. It's a universal language. And so why not create a product that actually leverages the music? And so here you would have this basically a small DJ rig that students will create. They would solder this DJ rig together. It would look like what you see, and then they would plug it into the computer and actually code it to play music to get them excited. And then our third kit is the Sound Clash. So, of course, everything is evolved around music and getting our students excited about education, but using a different approach as opposed to the traditional way of learning. And so in the Sound Clash, you learn the physics of a speaker, you learn the history of the speaker, and then you learn how to put it together, and you actually have your own personal Bluetooth speaker. All this is on the fly because it's called Media Masters. Think of us as MJs as opposed to DJs, media jockeys as opposed to disc jockeys. And so our biggest client for this platform would happen to be an engineering firm. Northrop Grumman saw value. They said, wait a minute, Mr. Tilghman, we have a pain point. We always lead into your pain point or your goal so we can connect you to our resources. And sometimes it's something that we have right here at 5-Star Enterprise. Northrop Grumman said their pain point was attracting millennials to their career fair booth. We can help with that. How can you help with that, Mr. Tilghman? Well, we have a partnership with Silent Headphones, Silent Events. We shipped 100 headphones to Seattle, Washington, and then we hooked up a TV next to where I was DJing, so you couldn't hear the music. It didn't disturb any other booth. Only people with headphones on could hear me mix what I was mixing, and I was mixing their content. And so I got a bunch of Northrop Grumman videos. every year, the third Saturday of September, you can fly on in town, wherever you are, to Towson, Maryland, and we will have an A-list artist there to highlight African American culture, give out scholarships for our students in Baltimore County, and preserve history of African Americans in Baltimore County. I serve as the Vice President of Black Professional Men, which is a 30-year organization, and our mission is to ensure the future of the African American male. Of course, that's a mission I can get behind. I happen to be an African American male. I would like to get involved. And so there's nothing more precious than your time. We can get material things back, but you cannot get your time back.
Right.
And so I always frame it in this way. If I gave you all $86,400 and you had to spend it by midnight tonight, it's not even noon yet here where we are. And so if you are just receiving $86,400 and you had to spend it by midnight, what would you spend it on? And at midnight, I'll give you another $86,400, and you got to spend that by midnight. What would you spend it on? Is it clicking yet? Let me flip it. The Most High gives us 86,400 seconds in a day. What are you spending your time on? now it's put in perspective. There's nothing else precious. Nothing. Your time. You can't get that back. It's the most precious thing that we have is our time, and to be able to give that on to your organizations that you care about the mission should be the goal. To serve your fellow man, to make the world a better place, should be our goal.
Well, as I say in my show, hold on to what you got until you can get what you want. And
love it.
You are a blessing. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great one.
Okay, you too. Wow, I was thoroughly impressed. Just imagine, just a little vinyl record like this that's been around for quite some time can make a big difference. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to leave some comments, you can go to our website, www.thekellyhillrossshow.com, or you can find us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So until the next time, hold on to what you got until you can get what you want. See ya.